let's look ahead and perhaps, I don't know, listen to what Phil Hellmuth had to say about the upcoming High Stakes Duel, or I should say what led to the upcoming High Stakes Duel. Let's have a listen.
I was disappointed in the way that Daniel played. But I know his coaches are brilliant. And so he has brilliant coaches. And so everything that I had talked about with his coaches, you see, I talked to these guys for a couple of hours. I love the way they thought about No Limit. Then I sent them to my agent. And then they ended up with Daniel, not with me, because I was like, what are they going to teach me? We're aligned on our philosophies. So I think they're great coaches and they know what they're doing. I think that their heads-up theories about, three betting every time you have Jack 3 of clubs and Jack 5 of clubs and a lot of these hands, that seem like that's a lot of money to get in some weird spots. So I was betting on Daniel's talent, and I think that if Daniel's going to try to play Doug playing pure GTO or next level GTO, then to me Doug has a lot of fire, and he's and so Daniel's trying to fight fire with fire. I thought Daniel should have fought fire with Daniel, and so I told Doug I'd play him next, and and I'm ready. So I've won 29 out of my last 30 heads-up matches. I won the last heads-up tournament I played in. And so I think I've only lost once to Kerry Katz, our boss, at a World Series tournament. And I remember I had aces and he had sixes. But, I mean, to be fair, most of the money went in after it came King 6 deuce. I overplayed the aces.
Huh. He doesn't have anything to learn from coaches. I definitely heard that part. Just no one can coach him.
So, Daniel, what were your thoughts when you heard that from Phil last week?
Okay, if you look at that in its entirety, it is a large bowl of word salad nonsense. Okay? It's just such insanity. Because here's the thing, right? He starts off by saying, I didn't like the way Daniel played. Yet, he watched exactly 0 of the match. Okay? So typically when you watch a game, if you don't say, oh, who played last night? Lakers and Timberwolves? Yeah, I didn't like the way the Lakers play. Did you watch any of it? No. How do you know that? You don't know shit. You're just literally talking out of your orifice that's sitting in the, that you're sitting on. Just complete word salad of nonsense. I don't think he has any idea. And, this idea with the coaches thing where he keeps mentioning that, they're aligned. They talked for a couple hours. They probably said a couple things that Phil said, oh, that's it. I got it all fucking figured out, right? I think Phil represents a generation. Well, I don't think he represents it necessarily, because there are people from his generation that have a deep respect. Guys like Eric Seidel. They have a deep respect for all the hard work these young guys put in on just analyzing the data. It's reminiscent of, old school football coaches, down by 9 with 3.5 minutes to go, a 4th and 1 on the 40, and they're like, well, let's punt it and hope we get the ball back. Just old school, forget about data, forget about game theory, all that kind of stuff. Just use the eye test, or sports bettors who are going to just do it based on going, oh, I don't know, I feel like they're going to win today because I got a good feeling, and today's method is, using data, which is similar to poker, right? Where you can dissect the game at a very high level. So first of all, he's just talking out of his ass because he didn't watch any of the match. Second of all, this idea that you're not, raising with Jack 3 suited, this just shows how little he knows, right? Of actual, theory. And I will say this. Phil Hellmuth has done a really good job his entire career of being, and he doesn't know this, because this is so fucking funny when I tell you this. He's the most extreme exploitative player I've ever seen. And it works because people make big mistakes against him, okay, that I won't be making necessarily. And I remember when I first said we were filming the final table of the World Series of Poker, and we're sitting there on the couches in the back room, and we mentioned game theory optimal, and he's like, and I said, Phil, you're an exploitative player. And he's like, no, I'm not. He's like, I'm game theory, I'm GTO. And he's like, and then he literally said, swear to God, I invented GTO.
Oh my.
He said,
it's unbelievable.
I invented it. I invented, not the internet. He didn't invent the internet, but he invented game theory optimal play. And he didn't understand what the hell it is, still doesn't understand what the hell it is, but claims that he invented it. No, Phil is good. And I try to say that's not an insult to say that you're an exploitative player, because you're very, very good at what you do, right? The issue is when somebody does understand game theory and can poke holes through all the exploits that you're making, then you can't win. You just, not even win some. You just can't win against these players. Like, obviously, the shit worked against Antonio, but that shit's not going to work against me.
What are Daniel and Phil going to play? I'll tell you what they're going to play. High Stakes Duel.
Wow.
Daniel just mentioned it. Phil kicked Antonio Esfandiari's ass 3 consecutive matches in High Stakes Duel 1. Here comes High Stakes Duel 2. Daniel Negreanu versus the defending champion, Phil Hellmuth. He's going to unveil a championship belt. The date is to be determined, but I promise you it is coming very soon.
Hey everyone, this is No Gamble, No Future. All the sports betting and Brent, really just all the pure degeneracy.
You gotta risk it to get the biscuit. Like and subscribe.
Please?